KISW.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this program are not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose, and all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the men's room.
Transmission successful.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the men's room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say. Shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the men's room on 99.9 KISW.
Wow! Hold us out of the way we go. It's finally a Friday, May 25th, 2012, and show number 1504. Along with Steve, the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Ben, the Psycho Bubba.
Phenomena.
Montgomery!
And you are in the men's room. On Ted today, like Ravens, Brownies, and Steelers, we hunt a bingle. Return of Ted versus the FCC. It's a Bad Joke Friday, bitches. Plus headlines, a men's room shout of the day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Click, clack.
Good job. All right, here we go. Man driving in Central with kids and mom and dad killed by gunfire. Missouri is going to start using the drug that killed Michael Jackson to take you higher. Another home invasion as we go to Thurston County for a man who ties up 2. When you shoot your mom in the head, your inheritance you did screw. And can you hear it? Yes, it is the 3-day weekend, bitches. That's all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
Now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Happy Friday to you and yours. All right, this was breaking news during our show yesterday afternoon, but it's worth repeating. A man in Puyallup, he calls police to report that he saw a tiger in his backyard. A few minutes later, another call reporting the same thing came from a house on the same road. So naturally, the authorities searched for the animal, but to no avail. So essentially, one of 2 things is happening here. The calls for a prank, or there's a goddamn tiger on the loose in Puyallup. Now, if you ask the first caller, one Travis Johnson, it's the latter. He's pretty sure he saw a damn tiger, but not everyone believes him. Then again, there's those people that swear they've seen Bigfoot. And we've all heard the stories. Well, now, a group of researchers at both Oxford and some zoological association over there in jolly old England, they're conducting DNA tests on supposed Bigfoot hairs. They just want to put this to rest once and for all. So the point is, if they can verify that the hairs belong to some yet-to-be-identified forest monkey, well, then turns out the crazy old man who keeps telling you about that one time he went camping won't seem so crazy anymore. Some people, hey, they swear they've seen a UFO, like myself, or they've seen a ghost, or perhaps they saw the face of the Virgin Mary in a Chicken McNugget. God knows we see that kind of thing all the time now. Or maybe it's just something stupid like you're pretty sure you saw a guy robbing the bank that you find out later the cops are looking for. Or you're pretty sure you saw your coworker sleeping with some broad even though you were hanging out with his wife at the time waiting for him to get to the bar, etc., etc. We've all seen some stuff where you take a second and you go, did I just see what I thought I saw? And even when you're convinced that you did and you tell people, no one believes you. Well, that's today's question. It's very simple. What are you pretty damn sure you saw? Or what's the most unbelievable thing you know you've seen?
206-421-ROCK, 800-783-ROCK, text 77999. Send your emails to the men's room at KISW.com. So our question, what are you pretty damn sure you saw? Or what's the most unbelievable thing you know that you have seen? Ola Bacholas, welcome to Friday. It's Miles and Thrill, the Men's Room, 99.9 KISW. Big show for you today as we get set for the 3-day weekend. The shot of the day into the 3-day weekend. Of course, we'll have the bad jokes. Ryan Castle, the drunk at charge, will be in to kick off the Bad Joke Friday. That'll happen right before the shot of the day. The exciting return of Ted versus the FCC. It's been a couple weeks, but the last time we did Ted versus the FCC, we had a rare victory. And Ted will go for another today as we have a listener-submitted Ted versus the FCC. Kind of interesting... the idea of what's going on right now in Puyallup. Maybe you're having a barbecue over the weekend. Maybe you're thinking about taking the family on a hike. And maybe one guy did see a tiger running around in the cornfield behind his house. But then what if a second call came in a short time later from a home down the street that said the same thing? Now, that's a little bit different. You can have one guy swearing to God that he saw a tiger. Mm-hmm. You can have the neighbor, though, who calls in, who has no idea that the first neighbor called and makes a similar report. That's where things get interesting on the fact that both described a 200-pound, very large Bengal tiger. Both of them had the exact same identification.
But how do you identify a Bengal tiger?
Stripes, and that's what I'm saying. You can see all different kinds of cats, and you know them, but instinctually, by seeing a Bengal tiger, you can identify it. That's the same thing as the Cincinnati Bengals have on their helmet. That's why it's unique. That tiger exists, for the most part, in India. It's one of the few cats out there that is a known predator of man. At least it is in its native country, because tigers had lost a lot of their food based on the fact that
India's overpopulated.
Exactly, and why not
go where the food is? Just eat the people.
Why not just take a little kid who's
a billion of them, man?
So when both say it's a Bengal tiger, and I don't
even swim,
and I know people were playing some pranks down there. Somebody put a Bengal tiger on a car on the side of the road and everything, but it seems to me like there's a Bengal tiger on the loose in Puyallup. You can joke around all you want, but enjoy your barbecue. I'd be looking over my back if you're grilling something that's pretty tasty and smells good from a pretty good distance. If you're in the general area of Gay Road, I don't know anybody who would voluntarily move on Gay Street or Gay Road. I think that would be my problem. I think you look at the house and you say, you know, man, I've been saving up to buy a house for all this time, and here's the perfect house for me. It's exactly everything I wanted, whether it's a fixer-upper or a brand new house or whatever, but you know where it is? It's on goddamn Gay Road, and I'm not buying it because it's on Gay Road. I'm sorry if you live on Gay Road. Things got worse. There's a Bengal tiger in your neighborhood.
Tell you, Reddy is on Gay Road.
And you're on Gay Road, which means you're a happy bunch until a Bengal tiger comes off and scalps you from behind and picks you up by the nape of the neck and drags you into the neighbor's property. Yeah, then we have the story of Bigfoot. Now, the Bigfoot thing is, it's a little suspect. It does get to the point of being somewhat scientific. In other words, if you've ever listened to Coast AM before, and that's a great show, by the way, George Norrie had two people on there. He had Sasquatch researcher Redmond Mullis and another Bigfoot historian named Stephen Strufert, okay? Both these guys say, without question, there is an existence of Bigfoot. Bigfoot are real, and they're a lot closer than you think. So why do they believe this? They believe this because basically they have some proof already, they believe, from other scientific evidence that people have sent in, DNA samples, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They want more. They're asking for those samples to come in up until September 2012. So if you believe you have some Bigfoot DNA, hair, or whatever, Roger Clemens' Miller Lite can, send it over to them and they'll determine if Roger Clemens is in fact a Bigfoot. Or if you have a bear in your neighborhood or whatever. The problem is this. There's been researchers in the United States that started the study, the same similar type of study, back in 2011. They have yet to publish, but the head researcher says, you're going to be very surprised once we release this paper with what we have found from the DNA sampling already from our investigative research, and the research that's going on in Oxford will be there just to prove what we have already stated.
You need to just put it out there. Because once you keep saying that, I got to discredit it.
So the question.
You're not going to believe this. You are not going to believe this. It's been like a year and a half, man. You got something to say.
We already know Neanderthal man walked this planet. It's just a question of, does he exist today?
It wouldn't be bad. Right. Two different things.
What are you pretty damn sure you saw, or what's the most unbelievable thing that you know you've seen? 206-421-ROCK, 800-783-ROCK. Send your email to the men's room at KISW.com.
It's the men's room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
There's Tool on the Rock. Old bitches, Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW. Welcome to Friday, bitches. Away we go. Big show for you today. Shot of the day into the 3-day weekend. Return of Ted versus the FCC. We'll have your bad jokes, as it is a Bad Joke Friday. And, of course, we've got a couple other deals for you today, including half off of wings at KISW.com. Get the perks right now, and Wingdome's going to hook you up with half price. Half price for wings and cold beer and booze at any of the Wingdome locations, West Seattle, Greenwood, Kent, and Kirkland. Great wings, great people, and we're doing it for you half price right now at KISW.com with KISW perks. All right, let's see here. Our question, let's get into the study and see if you can tell me why my mind is confused here. As a couple of guys who are Bigfoot historians and researchers were on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. And one of the guys, Stephen Strufert, and another guy, Redmond Mullis, are trying to collect some DNA so they can do some extensive research as far as DNA testing on Bigfoot.
Sure.
According to these guys, they are working with the Lausanne Museum of Zoology in Switzerland.
Sure.
And they're setting up DNA testing. They amassed a large collection of hair samples believed to be Bigfoot in origin from all over the world.
I thought they'd submit a sperm sample.
Yeti as well, and are prepared to conduct the first scientific study of the reputed Bigfoot evidence. Strufert said the study has a much stronger scientific pedigree than any other testing done to date, and researchers are putting out a worldwide call for samples. They can be submitted until September of 2012. Scientists plan to analyze DNA samples in November and hope to publish their findings sometime in December of this year. This guy Mullis has been researching Bigfoot for more than 35 years. He has had numerous sightings in his lifetime. Here's kind of a strange thing about this guy, though. He and his team have been working behind the scenes to assist in the project, but Mullis, he replied that there have been countless sightings of Bigfoot over the years and that thousands of people have some type of evidence, so it's time for some type of official scientific investigation to pull all the puzzle pieces together. Now, there's this other guy named Dr. Melba Ketchum, and he has been promising to release a paper regarding the findings from his own Bigfoot DNA testing conducted here in the United States in 2011. To date, the paper still hasn't been published, but according to his Facebook page, she's had some surprising results. Mullis also had some interesting advice for Bigfoot hunters who hope to catch a glimpse of the elusive creatures. According to Mullis, Bigfoot have exceptionally keen eyesight, which allows them to see us before we see them, thus enabling them to make a quick escape. He says they're also very inquisitive by nature. He told the listeners to the show that you don't have to go out in the middle of nowhere to get to see a Bigfoot because they're closer than you think. Instead, he suggests that you set up camp, act natural, in fact, have fun, laugh, and be active. Don't go camping and just know for a fact that Bigfoot is watching you. Like, for one thing, if you're going out Memorial Day, just don't have your eye over your shoulder the whole time thinking Bigfoot's watching. Just do your thing, act like you're camping, make some s'mores. Don't let them know that you're really there to find Bigfoot. That would be my advice. Do what you're doing, like the hot dogs, the hamburgers.
Did he add, I'm also making all this crap up?
Yeah.
What does he know about Bigfoot?
He says that Bigfoots are curious. He says they're curious, and like most animals, once they get used to you, they'll get a little bit closer there.
Yeah, based on all the research done on Bigfoot, right?
Right, I'm with Ben. How does he know that?
I don't know. Well, the Strufer guy, the Strufer guy is the owner of a...
That's the whole thing. Like, he doesn't know. Just act natural.
What is a bodega?
Most people are acting natural, I think, when they go camping, right? Most people don't actively go camping, go looking for Bigfoot and say, hey, man, I saw Bigfoot. The people that say they saw Bigfoot go... Holy Jesus ass, man, I'm telling you, I went outside, I went to take a leak behind a tree.
But you know why they saw him? Because they were acting like Bigfoot wasn't there, and they were just doing what they normally would do when they're camping.
Because Bigfoots know if you're looking for him.
I think the big asterisk...
Sounds like Santa.
The asterisk on this is the guy Stephen Struford. He is, he's from Willow Creek, California, and he owns a bodega.
Like a little corner store.
A little corner store that sells a lot of Bigfoot merchandise.
Yeah, so when it stands to reason you want to promote the idea.
That's where Bigfoot first became a household name in 1958. So that's one of the guys who was involved in it. So that's a little interesting from a business perspective.
Well, because down, I mean, I know up here people talk about Bigfoots, but I want to say down in Arkansas, too, that they claim they got Bigfoots down there.
No, they claim they have a giant pig.
No, but they have Bigfoots down there, too.
Maybe they do. Yeah, you're right. But what is the other thing they have down there? Don't they have a...
Well, they have giant pigs.
They do have giant pigs. Razorback. I mean, obviously, it's the Arkansas
They
Razorback.
have giant pigs.
But don't they have, like, a pig down there that they... Or maybe that was Snopes that said absolutely not. There's no way that this 300-pound boar existed, but...
Well, those things are getting so big and breeding wild, they're kind of taking over land in Arkansas.
Oh, I see. Okay.
In certain parts.
Yeah. Well, this story a little bit closer to home in Puyallup. So if you're in Puyallup, don't worry that there's a Bengal tiger running around. You have absolutely nothing to worry about.
If you act like you're not worried about a Bengal tiger, it won't bother you.
Just go about doing your normal Memorial Day activities and don't think, because they're curious animals and they see you before you see them. So just make sure you go about, just cook your hot dogs and your hamburgers. Don't worry about the Bengal tiger watching you. As he feels more comfortable, he'll approach you when he's comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then eat you.
And he only likes to eat big dogs.
Well, that's one of the problems here.
You really think so? Like, all right, so I'm a Bengal tiger, right? And obviously there's a Labrador Retriever, easy snack, I'm going to go grab it. You think he just ignores the Chihuahua? Well, you think like the rest of us deep down, he wants to shut him up too.
That was the guy who called. The guy who called, that was what he was worried about, actually. That was
his livestock, right?
Yeah, he was worried about his livestock. The guy who called yesterday afternoon to report the tiger in his backyard on Gay Road, he called initially, then a second call came in from another home on the same street down the road, also reporting a tiger sighting. That's why this has some legitimacy in my mind. I was checking on the corn crop I had planted, and I did see a cat fairly large, and they're now telling me it's a tiger. He estimated the cat weighed about 200 pounds. I thought I was going to kill my livestock or my neighbor's livestock, and that's what I was thinking, so I went inside and got a gun. It's a big cat. It could take you out. It could take anything out. It's no joke. As news of the tiger on the loose spread, someone placed a stuffed tiger atop a van on nearby River Road, prompting several 911 calls from worried residents who thought it was an actual tiger.
Kind of funny.
That, according to Department spokesman Ed Troyer. We could probably try to get Ed on the phone today, but I don't know if he's busy doing this or whatever else he's got his hands into these days.
Sure, he's got his hands full.
What was our guy that we had who did the documentary, The Elephant in the Room or whatever?
Tim?
Tim